Hello, everybody. This is Michael Magas, aka Mio, the admin over here when it comes to ACC stuff at ESR, and gonna be doing a demo race today to try to teach you about the HUD, pit stops, penalties, maybe even a little bit of strategy. We'll see. And that's about it, really. So just to quickly talk about what race we have set up here. I've got a AI race here set up, GT4s at Monza. Starting on pole is Duncan Hoosman in the Camaro. So quick note here. This is the positional chart that it gives you here, so you can see the position, the driver, the brand of the car, the number. Now note, the number plates have different colors to them. There. Trying to take my hand off the mouse and it was really not letting me. The color of the number plate signifies to a degree the strength of the driver. So at the bottom you have the red number plates, which are AM drivers. Then you have silver, like mine, which are silver drivers. And then you have white, which is platinum and gold drivers, the kind of cream of the crop. There are also things you get in single player, like black ones. That's the Pro-Am one. In a single driver race, you will not see those. You will just see the three I mentioned, because anything like a national or a Pro-Am one requires multiple drivers and some interesting rules. Titanium Cup would be another one. Tin Cup. So there's that. And then beside there is this one that indicates that you have a mandatory pit stop to do, and when you clear it, it will turn green. We'll talk more about those in a second. So I'm going to load just the basic aggressive setup here. Haven't done a lot with the GT4s, so this will be fun. I do very much love the Camaro, of course. Turning the car on, there's a little power button next to your fuel there. It turns green when the ignition's on, and then white when the car is overall on. So I think I could just go now. Yeah, okay. So we're rolling here. I can see the radar there is telling me where everyone else is. Oh! That was a little nasty. I didn't realize he was that close. Just my bad, so don't do that. Now we're waiting for the green flag. Green flag, green flag. Come on, give me the green. Cross the line. Green flag. Okay, so the Mercedes is probably going to out-drag me to the first corner just because that's what it does. Oh, no, I kept it. Okay, cool. Here we go, here we go, here we go to the Prima Variante. Shift down for it. So you can see the radar there is telling me where the cars are. It'll glow a slight yellowish color when people get closer. Red if it's very, very close. So think of yellow like caution and red like danger. Down beside the position chart there, you can see that I have my pit stop requirements. So the pit window is not open, so I can't pit stop. I also need to set up a refueling. And the tire change is ready to go. And the driver swap I can't configure until we open the pit window. The other thing to talk about here is the position chart there on the MFD. That's that. When I say MFD, I mean the lower left-hand corner. So right now it's set up my relative. It's showing me the three cars behind me and the three cars ahead of me, and it's ignoring race positions. So you can see I'm looking at basically the guys in last place. Now I can swap that into an overall screen like this. And I covered this in the controls, the settings video, how to cycle your MFD. So if you have not watched that, go check that out. So here we can see my overall position, and it's going to ignore anyone that's basically under like a blue flag scenario, as opposed to the other one, which is just looking at cars and their relative position. To me. I can also bring up an electronics tab here. Here you can change settings of the car, brake bias, ABS, TC, engine map, wipers, lights, rain light, indicators. My dash is here. You can also start the car from here if you don't have it set up to do buttons. You can change the race logic. You can change the pit limiter on and off. So that's a very useful thing particularly if you're kind of like out of buttons. You can do things here without mapping buttons to them. Here's the pit window. The pit menu, I should say. Now here's where we will set up my pit stop, and once I get onto a bit of a straightaway, I'll go through some of it. So probably after the Lesmos coming up here. Here you can select what tires you want to go on, how much fuel you want to add, which pit strategy you want to use. So you can set up to 50 pit strategies, or 30 pit strategies, I should say, to handle any perhaps thing beforehand. So let's see. I'm going to put some fuel in. So you see how the refuel has gone green now, and I could change to not change tires or change tires. And after Ascari, I'll show you a little bit more. Then I can go down, and I'm looking at my tires, and I can see that the pressure's a little bit low. So let's say that I want to go up about 0.5 psi on everything. Kind of screwed up there. So don't fiddle around when you're going into a turn, but I'm not too worried about it. You can also have change brakes here, and also trigger a driver swap. Now the driver swap you can't trigger at this point because the window's not open yet. It'll be open at the end of this lap. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try and intentionally get a penalty here by cutting the track and destroying the boards here. Boom, boom, boom. Stop go penalty, 20 seconds for cutting the track. I have 3 laps to serve this. Now if I go over to here, I can see that I have an SG20 beside my name. It'll be DT for a drive-through, or SG30, SG10, whatever the appropriate penalty is. And I have 3 laps to serve that. So I'm going to serve that this lap. Might have made it worse there by cutting that chicane. Yeah, warning. So how you get penalties for track cutting anyways is you'll get warnings for the first couple, although the first one I did there, of course, was a massive track cut, an automatic penalty. So that's why I got the auto penalty. And now I've picked up a warning. You'll also see that pop up sometimes when you cut the track and you don't gain an advantage, and it will say no time gained. That's no panic. But if you pick up 3 of those actual warnings, you'll get a drive-through penalty for that as well. So I'm going to do the stop-go penalty this lap, as I am 16 seconds out ahead. So I am going to lose the lead here, but then we can go fight through some traffic and do a pit stop, and that'll pretty much be the video. So I can see at the top there the pit window's counting down. I have a 20-minute pit window set up here just so I could get the pit stop done pretty early. And you can see it's cutting down, so I have like 19 minutes to go to serve my my pit stop. And the pit stop window is always centered on the halfway point of the race, so half the window will be in front, half the window will be behind. So I'm coming up to do my my pit stop here, or my penalty. Get her down below the limit. Pit limiter is on. Keep in mind, you must stay in first gear outside of the BMW M4, and there may be some other GT4 cars that this doesn't apply to. But how do I get racing craft for this? I don't even know. I don't even know. So you can see there I said serve penalty. You notice how the pit stop window there is all different now. So it's just basically a pit limiter now. So 20, 10. When it hits 5, I'm going to turn the car back on. So ignition on. You can see how it went green. But I can't hit the starter until the controls are back. There we go. Off we go, off we go, off we go. I'll demonstrate the pit limiter at some point as well. Now it'll tell me that I've served my penalty. Going, going, going. Penalty cleared. So I have no penalty now. Switch me back to relative mode here. Okay. So now I'm going to look to do my pit stop this lap as well to demonstrate that additionally. Man, I'm still actually ahead of somebody. That is stunning. But I shouldn't brag in any way, because of course these are all moments of... I've got the AI set very low. I guess is what I'm getting at. This is like 85 AI, which is not what I would race against for an actual challenge. Oh! That was clumsy. That was clumsy. That would have probably netted me a penalty in reality. Yeah, go. There you go. Let's do a safe rejoin here. I really screwed that other car up, though. Alright. So that was very rude by me. Alright, so the pit window requirements are all up. Let's get in and do my pit stop now. Now, so something important to realize with pit stops is if you're changing tires or refueling, you're at a 30-second pit stop minimum. There's no way to get below that. See, I turned... Actually, even with that. There's no way to get below that without turning off fuel and tires. So this is why those who are in our series will always say, I always say fuel is recommended, because we don't require refueling. But you're only making your car heavier at the start by not refueling at the pit stop. So again, into the pits we go. There we are. Going to stop and take my my service here. See, the drivers are changing, which is quite neat. Coming in. That's the Jeanette ahead of me. There's only one of those in the game. There. Still not very good at finding my pit box, so to speak. So don't take advice from me on that. So here we are. Car is off. Letting the crew work. Putting on the third tires. A little bit more inflation on these tires as well. You can also change the compound here to dry tires if you wanted to. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's turn the car back on. Starter, and off we go. Mandatory pit stop is cleared, so see how it has gone green? This means I'm pitted. I'm good to the end. Any other pit stop I do from this point onwards is voluntary. Blue flag out for the leader. He's not pitted yet. Surprised to see that KTM in second at Monza. Doesn't seem like a track it should actually be all that strong at. But it did well in my testing session here as well, so I think maybe I'm just misinformed on that. Okay, so I'll do a quick demo of the pit limiter as well here, because I have nothing else really to talk about. Oh, quick note. On the pit menu, you see you can get a track condition, which is right now optimum, and a weather forecast for upcoming weather. This can allow you to strategize for rain, for example, but also see, is the track cooling down, is the track heating up, and making tire adjustments as needed for that. You also have the wind there, but I don't think the wind is ever a huge factor in this game, to be honest. But that's just me. Could be me being a bit of a newbie. So, alright. So at Ascari, I'm going to go into pit limiter mode, because I think I'm far enough ahead of anyone to not have a problem. just move to the inside here to make sure I don't hit the KTM. Okay. So pit limiter on. See how the pit limiter is on? It's limiting me to speed. It turned off when I went up into second gear. So always remember that. The BMW M4 is the only one that I know is different on that, because the M4 has such a limited first gear that you end up with the ability to go into second gear and still do pit limiter speed, basically. And there may be another GT4 like that, I don't know, but the BMW is the only one that I found so far. This BMW M4 GT4 car, not the M6 in the GT3 class. I'll just do another lap here to think if there's anything else I want to bring up, but I think I've covered everything I was wanting to do in this particular video. I've shown you some HUD stuff, I've shown you some strategic stuff, I've shown you the pit stop, I have shown you I've given you a little bit of race footage. I've taught you about the MFD. That's the only other thing to note is you see I have no what do you call it? Predicted lap right now. There's a warning for track limits. That is because after a pit stop, your data clears, and it's now just comparing me to the second stint here. Although the best lap does remain, so I still know that I did a 2:04.9 as my best lap. So there's that. And I can tell, again, the car ahead of me is not pitted yet. It's also in second place, so I'm not really racing it. I'm not going for an overtake here, just getting out of the slipstream just in case. Of course, I am faster than these guys. You could overtake someone who is a lap up on you, but you'd have to do it exceedingly safely. So, let's try and give you an example here. So, Parabolica, I've got a significant edge on pace. I can get calmly onto the brakes and overtake him. Even that might have been actually a little bit inappropriate, because he did have to pull in behind me. You can see the flag there, blue. I'll do a video on flags, actually, to be honest. Just as a general note for new racers, I think. This is going to be a really, really unsafe overtake, so I'm going to bail out. Let him have his spot. Go on through. So yeah, there's nothing else really to talk about that I can think of. There will be some stuff about the multiplayer interface in the next video. There will be some multiplayer race action as well. We're going to talk a lot about the formation widget that a lot of people are having some problems with. And I think it's just that it needs to be explained a little bit better. So that's fine. I got nothing else really to talk about. There's a track map there. You can see where people are, and if you're in clear air, that's super, super useful for qualifying, and I think people do not use it nearly enough. They do not pick their spot very well. They like come out behind a horde of cars or in front of a horde of cars that are faster than them, that are just gonna catch them and mess it all up. There's no perfect thing. I'm not saying that you can avoid traffic in a qualifying or a practice setting or a race setting. You'll have to learn to deal with it. But you can definitely minimize it by looking at that. And a lot of people, in my humble opinion, do not. Ooh, the lovely Alpine. I love the look of that car. Zip. It's got a surprisingly punchy little engine in it. Sounds cool, too. Alright. Yeah, so that's all I got in terms of like the literal single player racing. Everything else is gonna be like kind of multiplayer exclusive. I'm gonna try and do that tonight. I'm gonna see if I can get a couple of guys together, because I think you need a couple of cars to effectively demo the widget. And also gonna talk about making sure you come in with the right livery, making sure you come in with the right car, because there is actually a significant problem when it comes to that kind of thing that we saw yesterday with the Zandvoort race, which is up on the ESR channel now, with commentary by Cole McRae, Ayrton Tobin. Check it out. And that's where I'm going to leave you all here for this video. If you have any questions, comments below. Keep in mind I may have answered a question in part 1 or part 2 or part 4 or part 5, whatever. There are other videos in this series, so I kind of recommend going through the playlist. But if there's anything I didn't cover, please feel free to ask, and I probably will answer even a question if it seems logical to bring it up. So there's that. Have a good day, everybody, and remember to get involved. And that racing is meant to be fun, but at the same time, it's meant to be serious. It's meant to be safe, and I think sometimes drivers struggle to find kind of the appropriate balance.